What's up guys, this is Y and today I'm going to show you how to create an amazing tile sequence that is inspired from the game Far Cry Primal. So let's have a look what we're going to create today. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to create a new composition. I'm going to rename this to Far Cry and I'm going to choose the frame rate to 30 frames per second and I make the duration to 10 seconds long. Okay, so now I'm going to just right click and import my assets. Great. By the way, you can download the project file and the assets from the link in the description. Great. So now I'm gonna just create some text. So I'm gonna choose my text tool and I will write with Far Cry font. By the way, you can download this font from the link in the description. I'm gonna just type in Far Cry. Great. And I will create another text. I'm gonna use a Primal font for this. I'm gonna type in Primal. Great. Now I'm gonna just center it using the Align tab. Center this as well. And I will just bring it down like that, and maybe I will just decrease the size, and let me just place it right there, and I'm gonna align it one more time. Great. Now I'm gonna just pre-comp this. I'm gonna select both of these layers. I'm going to layer, pre-compose, and I'm gonna rename this to tile. Great. Now I just wanna place it like so. Great. So now I'm gonna just bring in my textures. I'm gonna use the texture 3 for the background, and I will just press S on my keyboard and I will scale it down, something like that. Looks good. And I will just pre-compose this. I'm gonna press Ctrl Shift C and I will rename this to BG, and I will just select this, move all attributes. Great. Then I'm gonna go to the effects and presets window and I'm gonna type in 10 and I will apply a curves adjustment layer. Great. Just bring down the tones a touch. That's looking great, and maybe I will just decrease the tint amount. Great. Then I will just double click on this tile and I will import the same texture. I'm gonna use the texture 3, place it on top, press S to scale it down, something like that. I'm gonna change the blending mode to soft light, and I will check this so that it only affects the text. By the way, this is the transparency switch. I'm gonna increase the scale, something like that, and now I'm gonna just duplicate it a few times, press Ctrl plus D. Great. So this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna create a new adjustment layer and I will apply a curves adjustment to this, and I will just bring it down like so, and maybe I will just change it to something like that. Great. Then I will bring in my texture one and place it above the BG, and I will just scale it down a touch like so and change the blending mode to overlay. Great. Then I will bring in my texture 2 and scale it down as well, and I will change it to soft light. Great. Okay, then I could just change the curve a touch like that. Maybe decrease the opacity of this layer and decrease the opacity of textures. Great. Now I'm gonna just create a new adjustment layer on top of everything, and I will use a curve adjustment layer, and I will just tone this out like that, and I will apply a tint effect right there. Great, this is looking good. Okay, so now I'm gonna just pre-comp all of these, select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C. I'm gonna rename this to look, or maybe I will type in title look. Great. Okay, so now I'm gonna just click on this toggle switches and modes, and I'm gonna make it a 3D layer, and now I'm gonna create a new light, and I will make it point light and color set it to white, and enable this cast shadows and hit in OK. Great. So now I'm gonna just animate this light. So I'm gonna select the light and I'm gonna press P on my keyboard to open the position property, and I will just create a keyframe right there, and I will bring it somewhere around there. Great. And I'll select the Z axis and I will just move it like so. Great. Then I will just go to like 4 seconds or somewhere around there, and I will just reveal it like that. Great. So this is what we have till now, and it's looking pretty great. Okay, this is looking good. I'm gonna just select both of these keyframes and I will just place them somewhere around there. Great. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna just import my sparks, and I will just place them there. Click on this toggle switches and modes and change the blending mode to add. Okay, now I just time it up with the reveal of our text. So I'm gonna time it somewhere around there, so our light goes and disappears. Okay, let me just see. Okay, I'm gonna select this light and I'm gonna press U on my keyboard to show the keyframes, and I will just bring it somewhere around there and somewhere around there. That's looking good. Let's see. Okay, it is slow. Okay, so to fix that, I'm gonna right click on my sparks and go to time stretch, and I will change the duration to say 2 seconds and 20 frames. Great. So let's see now. Okay, I'm gonna bring these keyframes right there. Okay, that's looking good. Great. Now I'm gonna duplicate these spots. I'm gonna press Ctrl plus D to duplicate them. Great. Now I'm gonna just press S on my keyboard to open the scale and uncheck this constraint proportions, and I will solo it out, and I will just increase it like so, and maybe I will hold the shift key and press R on my keyboard to open the rotation, and I will just rotate it like so. Great. So we have some sparks that fly upwards. That's great. And I will time it to say maybe 4 seconds. That would be fine, I guess. And I will just place it right there. Great. I will unsolo this and let's see. Okay, that's looking very good. Okay, so you can just experiment and you might get some different results. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just add some particles. So I'm gonna change the blending mode to add. Okay, and I will just time it up really quick. That's great. Let's see. No, it's happening too quick. Let me just put it there. Let's see now. Maybe there, I guess. Yeah, it's looking good. And I will now put some more particles. Right there. Change the blending mode to add. And that's it. Let's see. Just solo it out. Okay, so I'll select this hide off particles and I will apply a Gaussian blur to this. I guess 45 would look good. Yeah, that's looking great. Okay, so this is looking great. Cool. So now I'm gonna just quickly insert my fog. Great. I'm gonna change the blending mode to screen. I'm gonna place it right there. Okay, let's see, right there, I guess. No. Okay, I'm gonna place it right there. I'm gonna press T on my keyboard to open the opacity, and I will just keyframe it and go there, and I will make it 0. Great. Let's see. Okay, that's looking great. Cool. Now I'll just duplicate this, press Ctrl plus D, and I will just right click and go to transform, flip horizontal, and transform flip vertical, and I will just decrease the opacity right there. Maybe I will just zoom in. Okay, that's great. I'll just decrease it to 50%. Great. Okay, so let's see. This is looking good. Okay, so now I'm gonna just insert my flash and the quick spot particles right there. So if I just change the blending mode to add right there and solo them, you can see this flash occurring and particles floating out of there. Great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna time it up. I'm gonna right click and go to time stretch, and I will make it, let's say, maybe 20 frames long, I guess. Oops. Yep, 20 frames long. Great. And maybe I will just change the flash and make it, say, 12 frames long. I guess that will look good. Great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just time it properly. So right there. Maybe something like that would look good. Okay, that's looking good. I'm gonna unsolo them, and I will just press Ctrl Shift C, and I will pre-comb them. I'm gonna rename this to Flash. Great. Okay, let's see. Now change the blending mode to add. Okay, that's looking good. And I will apply a tint effect to this. Great. So now I'm gonna just position it out. So I'm gonna just position it somewhere around there, maybe scale it down a touch, maybe place it there or there, and let's see. Great, it's looking good. Okay, so now I'm gonna just create a new light, point light. Great. And I will just switch it off for a sec, and I will go there to the frame where I can see the flash, turn it on, and I will just place my light right there. And I will just move in the Z-axis like that. Great. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go there where the flash starts. Maybe I will just zoom in. I'm gonna just trim it there, and I will just trim it right there. Great. So now we have this. Okay, so I'm gonna trim it more, only the part where there is a huge flash. So I'm gonna just bring it there. Okay, that is slow. Okay, it's looking good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just move in the Z-axis a little more. Maybe I will just decrease the intensity, or maybe I will just increase the intensity. Okay, so we have this. Great. What I could do is I could just go to the light options and change the fall off to smooth. Maybe decrease the radius to only this part, and decrease the fall off distance to something like that. Increase the shadow darkness and the shadow diffusion. Great. Okay, this is looking good. So we have this nice flash kind of thing. going around there. Okay, this is looking good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just select both of them and press Ctrl plus D, and I will just bring it right there. Okay, and I will select the light 3 and the flash that we just duplicated, and I will just move it right there, or maybe there. That's looking good. So I'm gonna just move the flash and the light. So I'm gonna move the flash to somewhere around there. So I'm gonna just move the light first, and then I will move the flash right there. Great. So we have this kind of an animation going around there. So this is looking great. I'm gonna just select the light one. I'm gonna press U on my keyboard, and I will select both the keyframes, and I will bring them somewhere on there, and I will select all of the sparks and fog, and I will just bring them right there. Great. So we have this kind of an animation right there. This is looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna just time them a little. Let's see now. Okay, let me just pull the keyframe right there. See now. Okay, this is looking good. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking great. Just bring it down. Maybe I could just select both the keyframes and press F9 on my keyboard to ease them. And let's just see now. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Okay, I want this right there. Good. Okay, this is looking good. Great. So we get the sparks, and then we get this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just duplicate the sparks, and maybe I will just place them right there. Let's see now. Okay, this is looking good. Great. So with this, our major work is done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to layer, new, solid, and I'm gonna rename this to OF, stands for optical flares, and I will just bring it on top of everything. Okay, so now I'm gonna use a paid plugin from Video Copilot. That's the optical flares. And we'll go to options and clear all. I'm gonna select this glow. Great. And then I'm gonna just make it add, and I will go to the spark right there. Okay, and I will make it orangish kind of a color. Great. Okay, and I will just trim it right there and trim it right there. Let's see. Okay. So this is looking good. I'm gonna just duplicate it, press Ctrl plus D, and I will just place it right there. And I will select this, go to the optical flare, and I will just bring this right there. Great. So now we have this kind of a great looking effect. Okay, now I just go to layer and new solid. I'm gonna rename this to OF, optical flare, and I will apply a optical flare effect to this. Go to options and clear all, select this glow, and I will just increase the brightness to something like that, and I will change the color to orange. Great. And I will place it somewhere around there. Change the blending mode to add, and I will go to the flicker and increase the flicker speed to something like 22 or maybe 24. Increase the amount to 36 and increase the random seeds. Great. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is looking pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna just press T to open the opacity, and I will go there, make a keyframe at 100%, go there, make it 0. So now we have this nice transition, which is looking pretty good. Okay, so now I'm gonna just duplicate this, and I will change the color to blue, and I will place the optical flare right there. Maybe just decrease the brightness to something like that. That is looking good. Okay, and maybe I will just bring it right there. Great, let's see. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just create a new adjustment layer. I'm gonna rename this to CFX, stands for color, and I'm gonna add a curved adjustment layer, and I will just go to the red channel, increase the red, go to the green channel, maybe decrease the, maybe let's just add a little bit of green, go to the blue channel and decrease the blues to something like that. That is looking good. Maybe let's just bring it down a touch. Okay, this is looking good. And we'll go to the RGB, and maybe I'll just add a little bit of contrast, and it is looking great. Okay, so now I'm gonna just add a photo filter effect. Okay, this is looking good. Great. Okay, so we are pretty much done. We just need to adjust the timing and add a fade out. So for the fade out, I'm gonna create a new solid. I'm gonna rename this to fade. Great. Then I'll just go right there, switch it off, and maybe I will go there and I will switch it on. Press T on my keyboard to open the opacity, and I will create a keyframe, make it 0, go to the end of the animation and make it 100%. So we will have now a nice fade out effect. Let's see. Great. So this is looking pretty good. Okay, so we are pretty much done, and this is it. Let me just run preview this. Okay, this is looking good. You could just go to the light and press U and just adjust the keyframes to adjust the timing. You can just make it slow, make it fast, something like that. And I'm gonna keep it that way. It's looking nice to me. So this was it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification icon so that you never miss a future update. Also, if you enjoyed this video or learned something new today, make sure to give me a like, and if you have any query or feedback to give, the comment section is all yours. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, peace out.